Edwin, we can't hear you. You're not muted, but we can't hear you.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
There we go. Is that
Yeah.
it? Oh,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I gotta set the different adjustments here. So yeah, so welcome everyone. I'm Edwin Rutsch, director of the Empathy Center, and this is our empathy movement development team. And our mission, if I just read that through, we're dedicated to the growth and development of the empathy movement, and our goal is to make mutual empathy a core cultural value. And this space is for sharing progress on individual or team empathy movement development projects. We're here to support one another with mutual, problem solving and project development, and collaborate on movement building initiatives. And our format is everyone gets about 5 minutes. I'll have a timer to share your projects, any questions. And then also, within that time, you can open it up for discussions. We'll go through and hear from everyone, and then we'll open it up for general discussions too. And so we start with personal introductions, just like 30 seconds, for your name, your location, and why you're here. And I'm going to put in our agenda page again. Let me get the chat. So if you want to see our agenda, it's here. So I'll start. As I said, I'm Edwin Rutsch, director of the Empathy Center, and I've been working on promoting empathy, for about the past over 15 years. I've done all kinds of different empathy building projects, and kind of dedicated my life to how do we build a more empathic culture and society. And so that's me. Uh, Bill, you want to go?
Who?
Bill,
Oh, okay. That's me.
it's you.
Okay. Um, yeah. I've been working with Edwin for about it's almost going on 8 years now. I'm very involved in the training. We're finishing up the fourth session of our free online training. Check it out at Best Empathy Training. We're not shy. Um, and we're Jonathan and I working on the handbook. Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't like the. I'm a retired special education teacher, and I live in San Francisco. Sorry about that.
Yeah, just a
I
short, just
digress.
a short
Yeah,
intro.
I
Then
know. I
you'll
know.
have your
I,
five
I went
minutes.
right
So
into the report. Sorry about it. I
yeah,
apologize to everyone.
no problem. Daniel, short intro, who you are.
Hi, everybody. I'm in San Francisco, and I like to combine music and empathy, and I have various things in the hopper here because I'm curious to hear about your projects.
Great. Jonathan?
Well, thank you, Edwin. My name is Jonathan Gordon. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I see our work here is critical to developing and reinvigorating democracy. This is one of the greatest examples of democracy I've ever seen in my life, an empathy circle.
Great, thanks. And yeah, I'm also in the Bay Area. So, Joan?
Hi, actually Edwin's partner, and I hear about empathy all the time. That I haven't strictly been working on a project about empathy, but there's some thoughts that I have that I felt like I wanted to bring to the group and just see what you thought about it. And we're in El Cerrito, California.
Great, thanks, Joan. Alex?
Hi everyone, I'm Alex. I'm in DC and I'm a programmer and startup founder. And at the end of last year, I launched an app which is kind of democracy as a platform, and it's sort of how do we uh, bridge divides and find consensus, basically. Yeah,
Mm. And you had taken part in some of our empathy circles years ago, so we were
yeah,
really connecting. Yeah, so glad
long
you're
time ago.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ed and Amy?
Hi, I'm Ed, and I'm actually new. This is the first thing that we've participated in, and I've been on your mailing list for quite a while, and very interested in the type of work you do. And we live in Boulder, Colorado, and so when I saw this on your calendar, I thought this might be a good way to get a taste of what you're about. to hear about all of your different projects.
Excellent.
And do you want to say something?
Amy?
I'm Amy, and Ed and I are also doing, we're very interested in anti-polarization work, and we're actually leading a workshop on anti-polarization, and this seems like a big part of, what we're teaching about is having empathy to cross divide, build bridges across divides. So this is of interest to me.
Yeah, great. We've done a lot of polarization, bringing people together kind of work. And so,
Good.
yeah, really excited that you're here. Yeah, well, let's get started then. I'll start with my 5 minutes. So I'm putting my timer up here. So just going to report kind of what I've been working on. So I've been working on our empathy team preparing we have the California State Party Convention on February 20th here in San Francisco. Since Daniel, Jonathan, Bill, and Joan and I are in San Francisco, our team is going to be going there. And let me give you, we have and there's a link to this in the agenda. So this is we went, about, I don't know, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, I think we went to the convention, and that's Lou and I, and then Bill talking to the mayor of of Oakland, and so it's a good opportunity to promote the empathy movement, to the people there. I talked last time. I talked to Governor Gavin Newsom about empathy because he was just wandering the halls, so I was able to talk to him. I talked to him a couple times, and so this is just we offer empathy. We ask people if they support the empathy movement and have them, have pictures taken, and so that's just preparing for that right now. Also been working on, just with the AI has been really great for creating, infographics and stuff. So I've been working on for our empathy circles, a list of benefits of the empathy circle. So this is just one that I'm working on right now. So they have these graphics, like it's easy to do, and then a kind of an explanation for it. And then I'm just starting, those are to create these wide format ones that kind of really show up well on LinkedIn. So this is a post. I'm starting to post them too. So, benefits of empathy circles, allows space for creative solutions, has an explanation. So yeah, just been kind of working at getting that set up now because I'm kind of excited about using AI for that as a tool, and prep for also for our empathy summits. We have our empathy summit. April 4th is the next one, and the topic is how might we build the holistic empathy movement. And if you're as an empathy activist, you're welcome to speak. You get 15 minutes to talk about some aspect of how do we build the movement. So invite you to take part in that. So those are the kind of the main projects. And I don't know, any comments? I got about a minute and a half for any comments, thoughts about any of those projects. Oh, where are you again? You're in Colorado. That's right. So we're looking for other people who might want to go with us in San Francisco. So if you know anyone that wants to support the empathy movement, they're welcome. We have T-shirts. You put on the T-shirts, and it's just the beginning. We had gotten a lot of publicity for the empathy tent. When we take it out to public spaces, was mentioned on places like Breitbart, actually, and even Fox and Friends. They mentioned it. They
Wow.
totally got the message wrong on Fox and Friends, but they said we were giving massages to Antifa when we were actually giving massages to Proud Boys. They totally turned around. So anyway, but we've gotten a lot of publicity, with the empathy tent, and we want to, after we do the Democratic convention, I think we're going to take it to UC Berkeley, to which we've done a bunch, with offering empathy to the students, see if we can get them involved. And then I'm imagining maybe a sort of an, setting up in Sacramento at the state capitol, saying we want Republicans and Democrats to take part in the empathy circles. So we're kind of starting to get the ball rolling for that. So that's my time.
Oh,
Bill,
I was going to ask you a
oh,
question,
go
but
ahead.
I was just curious, what is the goal at the Democratic convention?
It's to sort of raise the flag for empathy, sort of just public awareness. Oh, and the other thing is that a lot of the candidates for governor will be there. And so I was going to see if we could kind of contact them and ask them to take part in empathy circles. Because we've done empathy circles with candidates before, because when people are candidates for office, they're much more open to trying anything. And we did that with the state legislature in Berkeley area, and we had 11 candidates there that took part in empathy circles. So the idea is to, raise the flag for empathy, make people aware of it, and then also to, try to develop connections. So yeah. So, yeah, that's my 5 minutes. We'll have time for later for speaking more. So, Bill, do you want to go? Anything?
Sure. I'm producing the online training, which is free. We're finishing up, um, and that teaches you how to facilitate an empathy circle. Jonathan and I are working on our handbook. We have the first one out. It's free, as a PDF. Um, and Oh, and then I'm working on an empathy game, to change the where it's either everyone wins or no one wins. So it's a different type of scorecard and it's a different type of thing. Those are some of the projects that I'm working on. Um, it's a lot. And then the Phoenix training, we're going to go down in March to the Phoenix training, and Daniel's involved in that. Um, those are some of the things I'm doing. Any
Yes, we
questions?
have different chapters. There's a group in Phoenix and another group in Santa Barbara. So if you're interested in DC or Colorado Empathy Center chapter, you can talk with us about getting a group together and forming a group. Starts with empathy circles, doing empathy circles, and start doing other projects. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Um, Daniel, do you want to go? Anything?
Sure, I don't have much. I'm working on the Phoenix training together with my wife Ingrid, who is right now at Luz, facilitator, reflection group. And that's going okay. I'm excited about it. I love in person empathy circles, and I love the vision of like we're getting together online and then forming more and more local hubs and cohorts, and from there sort of spreading that. I can see that, want to support that. The other thing I'm working on is in an existing community here, drumming community in San Francisco, and it's a slow process, and I'm learning as I go. Thank you.
And you host an empathy circle every Wednesday at 6 o'clock
Oh yeah,
Pacific time, right?
yeah. We host an empathy circle called Amplify Empathy online at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we've been doing this. I just looked at it well over 60 times, and we've never been alone. It's been going very steady and slightly growing, so it's wonderful.
And Bill holds a empathy circle every Thursday at six.
Right.
Six? Is it 6 o'clock?
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you're welcome
And we
to.
had someone who from Colorado, by the way, just for Ed and Amy, just a heads up.
I had a question, Daniel. I was just curious, your drumming group, how do you try to combine empathy and music?
Well, I'm very interested in groups that get together with great consistency already. And that's a group where there is a very strong social bond between the people that is not very conscious. It's just there because everybody loves to make music with each other. And I have just brought it up. I handed out a little card and said, I called it the Hippie Hill Drum Circle Listening Project. And I put on, we get together and talk about any concerns, ideas, inspirations, things you want to vent. And that caused some ripples and some response. And we did a total of, I think, 4 empathy circles with various different peoples. And the effect was astonishing. We haven't done much. This is about a month ago or 6 weeks even. But I had the sense going back to the circle that the music was better because of it, more listening in the music. And but I thought like that's maybe projection. But then some people even told me that they discussed with other people who didn't know about empathy circles that they felt those few circles made a difference and that we were listening better. So I'm very curious in regard. I know my time is because of that. I'm very curious to bring them into existing communities because oftentimes they deal with habitual, things that are stuck, and a little bit of I don't know, twisting the top a little bit can get a whole lot of things moving, and it's just fascinating.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, and that's in Golden Gate Park that you do
Yeah.
that. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's also tricky because I got to offer it at a time when we're not playing yet, because if we're playing, nobody wants to go to an empathy circle anymore. And so it's like I have challenges that I don't know how to think about. But I let it percolate and, thank you for listening and
Thanks.
for your
Yeah, thanks,
curiosity. It
Daniel.
makes a difference.
Jonathan, did you want to go?
Oh, well, thank you, Edwin. So my report is Wednesday. I had about a 1 hour conversation with reverend of the church that I've become affiliated with. And what the challenge to this church is an aging population. And so they're in the process of reinventing themselves, and they've contracted with an outside consulting firm. So what do you do with a church that's about 120 years old, whose congregation back 50 years ago was in the thousands, and now the congregation is at about 70 to 80 active members? And I was invited to join, and so I was down there Wednesday to submit my little application form. And guess what? I'm the 4th member to join in the whole last year. So they've only been able to recruit 3 people other than me. But the opportunity presented itself. Bill and I went down over 1 year and 2 months ago to this church to discuss renting the facility to do empathy circles. And it didn't work out. I think partially because the opportunity for Phoenix came up, and I think the energy was redirected to the Phoenix project. But I decided to stay on and attend the church weekly for the last year and 2 months. And I've actually become a member of the church. This is a non-dogmatic community type church. It's not affiliated with, I can't even think of the name of it, but it's totally unaffiliated, and it's 100% legitimate Berkeley and what you would expect for the Berkeley community in terms of a church. But what they're sitting on is a $3 million piece of land with a beautiful facilities at the top of one of the most popular restaurant districts in the Bay Area. But cutting to the chase, our conversation was about how do we grow the congregation? How do we reach out to the community? How do we make impact in the world? And so I was able to spend that time talking about listening. And I wasn't talking, this was a very casual, very informal presentation, but I was focusing on the power of this venue to bring our local community together and to provide listening and support for those people that are not feeling well about what's going on in society. And I think I'm at the point now where I've had a long talk with Martin Wagner is his name, who's the lawyer and activist who's hired to develop a plan. But I think I'm at the point now where I need to sit down and Edwin, you're fair game next week. You can ask me if I've started my outline, but I'm going to write a proposal talking about how we can do encouraging the church to start a listening program here in the Bay Area. And this would be the foundation of, could possibly be the foundation of our local group or local chapter here in the Bay Area, because it's so wonderful to have a facility to operate out of. It's wonderful to have the support of another larger organization. And if we can do this, I see this as a role model for spreading across the United States. I suspect that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of small church organizations whose influence is dwindling, who might benefit from adopting an empathy circle or a listening program to their neighborhoods. And so I'm very excited. I think it's worthwhile. I have to say to everyone here, especially you, Alex, that you get things done through patience and perseverance and not giving up. And so I got something done because I went into that group and I got to know the people, and I was a regular patron. I was supportive of the programs. And it's only through that tremendous giving of myself, that opened the door to allow them to listen to me. And thank you.
Great, thanks. We'll have more time afterwards to discuss any of these projects. So who would like to go next? Get 5 minutes to share any projects, any questions, or discuss.
I'll go.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, I haven't been working specifically on an empathy project, but I've been very involved with what's happening in the country and have been for a long time. And I discuss this with Edwin back and forth because I feel like the empathy work is very, very important. But I feel like we're in such a crisis in our country right now that I'd like to see some other aspect of what's happening in the country reflected in a program. And so Edwin is a big AI person. So I asked AI about this because I've been going to all these protests, and I've been phone banking for years and doing all that. And I just asked about having ability to be bringing a spotlight on empathy and what's happening. And so it said the goal is no longer just getting along, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's a very important thing, but rather rehumanizing the marginalized and protecting the democratic fabric of society. And I think a little bit of what Jonathan was saying, since it's an Asian church, there's a lot of things going on in our country right now where I'm sure I'm saying this, I don't know. There's possibility that they're feeling very marginalized. So I asked for different goals, and it said empowered empathy to protect democracy, reframing empathy from a passive feeling to an active. Now, I realize what you're doing is an active process, but courageous and necessary skill for sustaining a free society. That was one idea. The other one, I don't think Edwin will like this term, but they used radical empathy as resistance. And I kind of like that, actually, because we talk about resistance a lot, but to bridge them, it's bridging in a different way. Empathy and resistance, using empathetic connection to disrupt the fear, the resentment, and the othering that fascist ideals thrive on. So that was one other idea. Another was cultivating conscious empathy, and that is shifting society from a framework of kind of dog eat dog. I mean, that's what we're seeing right now, competition, to one of connection and mutual collaboration. So these are goals, and then they had different slogans too, like empathy is a strength, fascism is a weakness. I like that as well, bringing in exactly what's happening. And I think that we also hear sometimes, Edwin has looked at this a lot, that some people look at empathy, it used to be the GOP did, as a weakness. And that may have changed with what's going on in this country, but I like that. Defend our humanity, choose empathy. Unite against division, act with empathy. Radical empathy, the strongest shield against fascism. Just don't listen, connect. And empathy moves us forward. All of them, I really felt like they were great slogans. And with the slogan, I always feel like when I have a label for something, it helps you move forward. And so I'm looking for a way that there is something in the Empathy Project that really spotlights what's happening in the country, and even for empathy circles, people that need to come together, that need a great deal of empathy right now, and that is something that is highlighted. So I just love to hear any reactions that people might have or thoughts about it. Do I have any time left?
You're past.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
We'll go here for everyone, then we can open it up for just open discussion, and anybody can respond.
Okay.
So anyone else want to go? Got a project or questions?
Yeah,
Okay, go for it, Alex.
Go. Cool. So just a quick intro. So my dad was both a computer geek and a huge like hippie psychology, communications, emotions kind of stuff. And I am basically just the manifestation of being raised by him. So I've been a programmer my whole life, but also big fan of like nonviolent communication and different things in that. And also very, like you were mentioning, Joan, just like very disturbed with everything that's happened in the last like year or two, especially. in our country. And so I've been doing startups most of my life, and like for the past 2 years, I was doing kind of a news social media platform to get people to read like unbiased news. And so I left that at the beginning of or at the middle of last year, and I started this new thing, which I talked about in the intro. I can actually give a quick demo if people are
Hmm.
interested.
Yeah,
Um,
got, I
cool. Um,
think you have co-host.
okay, great. Let me make sure it renders properly. So this is based on, sorry, one second. Okay, cool. Okay, so you should be able to see that. So this is based on a deliberation platform, but this is made to be very like Instagram, TikTok generation, like kind of like very geared towards like broad appeal to get just everyone interested in democracy in sort of a fun, engaging kind of way, as opposed to like a more like deliberative tool that feels like more of like a responsibility or something like that. This is meant to be like a fun thing that you would do instead of posting on Facebook. You would go on here and talk about what's happening in your local community or something like that, on a Thursday night when you're bored at home or something. Um, so I just launched this in the end of last year, so it's definitely still in the beta stages. So there's plenty of work to be done. But so the interface is kind of, if you've ever used Instagram or TikTok or anything, you can scroll between different discussions that people are having. And then, so this is some discussion. So the DC Metro run 24/7 to support nightlife and shift workers. And then these are responses to it, that anyone can write. And so this is just like kind of reaffirming it. And then you swipe it to say I agree or disagree, or you can say not sure by clicking this X. You can also add your own take here. Yes, but it might be expensive or something. Um, and then that'll appear as a card for people to vote on as well. And then you'll see the results coming in live if other people are doing it, and you can see what is sort of rising to the top in terms of the highest consensus. Um, and then there's different aspects of it that I'm still trying to figure out in terms of like how do we sort of add the bridging component more. So there's this one thing which will show like this shows sort of these like metrics of like how well the conversation is going in terms of like, are we getting a lot of participation from everyone? Are we getting consensus? Are we getting a little bit of spiciness, right? Like we don't want everyone just posting things that everyone agrees with. We need a mix of opinions. And then kind of like you were talking about, Joan, like are we reaching the more like marginalized voices as well? So I'm kind of throwing a lot of things at the wall here and seeing what sticks. It's just sort of like I have various ideas and I'm trying things. So this is all kind of a process. But that's where I'm at right now. And yeah, I've got a couple. There's a guy running for LA mayor who's considering using this for his campaign, and a couple other organizers. So some exciting things in the early stages right now. This is very much an introverted solution to the to the problem. It's like we're not talking to each other enough. Let's build an app to make people talk to each other. But I appreciate all of you all doing much more of the like on the ground work of actually talking to people.
Yeah, any feedback, comments for Alex?
I thought it was very innovative and great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We
that's
need
it.
all the tools we can get.
Cool and
Yeah.
creative. Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And what are you thinking about the empathy movement? This is your first time here. What do you think? What's your take on, making mutual empathy a core cultural value?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm trying to figure out ways to bake it into the app, but also just, I mean, I've gone to my fair share of protests and I'm always trying to understand like quote unquote what the other side is thinking. Like I intentionally watch other, influencers on YouTube who are more kind of far right leaning, and I've always just wanted to understand like why there isn't more cross conversation between people. Yeah. So I would love to do like an Occupy DC empathy kind of thing at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, we had talked about that. We want to take the empathy tent out to public spaces and could take it to DC and the Capitol Mall, say, with our empathy tents that we we would like the Democrats and Republicans to take part in empathy circles with each other. So yeah, and we've done mediation like that as well between the Democrats and Republicans out in conflict, demonstrations. So yeah, thanks, Alex. Uh, Ed, Amy, would you like anything you'd like to share?
I I guess we could. I mean, as I said, we're this is the first time we've come to participate in one of these sessions. I've been interested in this topic for a long time and have done a lot of reading on it. And few years ago, discovered your organization and what you're doing, and groups like Braver Angels, and have been kind of watching from afar. And we participate in a local progressive church that has about 350 members, and we were talking to the leadership that like do the adult education program at the church, and just kind of offering up ideas on topics that kind of matched kind of the current sort of themes that the church has. And we brought up the topic of polarization and tools to bridge those divides. And we thought we were just contributing ideas, and the next thing we knew, they were asking us to lead a workshop on it.
Like
And
what?
I feel underqualified. I mean, I've read a lot about it and felt and thought about it for decades, but and I guess the best way to learn something is to have to teach it to others. So we just kind of jumped in, and we've been doing some research and partnered up with another person at the church, and we've developed a workshop that's titled "Connecting Bravely, Practicing Curiosity Across Divides," and which is kind of a overview of what is polarization and the causes of it, and tools for practical having conversations with people. And we've drawn from resources we found online. And we're doing this workshop on Monday. And so when I got your email that talked about this gathering, thought, oh, maybe we'll bring away some inspiration from today that will help us when we lead this workshop on Monday night. And we're hoping that this is not just a one-off, that it's kind of the beginning of something. I'm really curious about the resistance. Like, we're progressives, but we're also I look at a variety of different sources of information, so, and I can empathize with kind of the views and expectations of people from different walks of life. And we definitely encounter the resistance among our progressive friends. Like, they think that polarization is just because the other side is stupid and evil, and um, they're not really interested in bridging divides and empathizing. And so we're like trying to understand, how do you reach folks to help them develop an interest in wanting to bridge the divide? Because it has to start there, right? If they don't even have a curiosity or interest or a concern about what polarization is doing to our society, then why would they? It's safer, more comfortable to just stay in your tribe and hate the other guys. So anyway, that's what we're working with.
Nice.
Do you want to add anything?
No, that was very well said.
She's leading the workshop. I'm just like the support. I've done research,
Oh.
and I'm kind of behind the scenes support, but she's the one who's actually leading the workshop.
I'm a little nervous about it because, like Ed was saying, some very progressive people just kind of feel like it's all we're the good guys, they're the bad guys, which is exactly what polarization is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but in addition to, looking at the causes of polarization, the definitions, and teaching some skills, we're also going to be doing some exercises for people to reflect internally about, one exercise is, what does it feel? How do you feel if you are othered, or if you have unintentionally othered someone else, just to get people to become more aware of how that feels in your body. And it seems to me that that could give rise to empathy, like, oh, wow, when I feel into my body about how maybe I was othered in this situation, it feels awful. I don't want to do that to anybody if I respect the inherent worth and dignity of other people, of all people. So, there's kind of the exploration of, how we got here, but there's also internal exercises that have internal reflection to help people get at the feeling. And
And
maybe from that we could start some empathy circles or something.
well, yeah, and and we're hoping that this will not be a one-off, and there'll be follow-up. We're interested in maybe bringing in like some Braver Angels or maybe Empathy Center or something to offer a kind of continuing opportunities to go further with the topic.
Yeah, thanks. We would be glad to help support you with empathy circles, the practice. I put in two links. One was for the how-to empathy circle, and then the other was it's the empathy tent team successfully mediates political left-right conflict. So it's a video of how the empathy tent team went out into public spaces where there's left-right conflicts. I mean, street fights, literal. I mean, blood, flashbangs, the whole pepper balls, stuff.
Wow.
And you can see how we brought the two sides together in empathy circles. So a strategy that you could do is say, hey, we want to start with our own church. We have empathy circles, maybe 90-minute empathy circles on how do you feel about the current situation, political, social situation. So you have internal empathy developed within the group, and then people learn how to listen. Then you can expand it later on to maybe find a church that's a conservative church, and then bring them together, for example. So you can start, yeah, just with empathy circles, and we'd be glad to, support that in any way. If you want to, you need facilitators, to kind of hold the practice, and it doesn't take much to learn to facilitate, but, we can help train some people online, do some online empathy circles, and so we're glad to, kind of help with any of that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it sounds really juicy to, hopefully if the people in our workshop have interest in taking this further, I would love to start some empathy circles and then have that be where we are actually connecting divides with people who disagree. We don't want to just have a bunch of progressives listening to each other. We need to learn how to listen to people who have different viewpoints without demonizing them.
Yeah, and you can start with your own group so that they learn the practice, the
Right.
how-to, they've learned the skills, and then slowly, raise the level of conflict,
Mhm.
yeah, so great. Well, we can talk more about that. Nita, did you want to share anything about how you're building a culture of empathy or the empathy movement? And maybe
Yes, I do.
introduce yourself since we didn't hear your introduction.
Okay, I'm Nita, Nita Blair, and I'm in my training now for becoming a trainer of people who want to be facilitators of empathy circles. And I'm at level 1 right now. Um, the project that I'm on, um, and I'm excited about, I'm in the process of getting it formulated, um, really came up. Uh, it's been coming up for a while because of the way I feel when I attend an empathy circle. Every time I feel I'm feeling heard, I'm feeling valued, etc. Um, on on Monday night, I was at the monthly optimal health uh, meeting uh, at my church, and the person who was hosting the church was preparing different kinds of foods and talking about how they help with certain kinds of diseases and sicknesses and so forth. And one person in the group asked the question, is there anything dietary that could help with, she has a relative who has dementia. And okay, they named out the various foods that work with that. And I decided to chime in because I had read some research uh, that indicated that the use of empathy circles and I didn't use the word empathy circles at the time, but I just empathy with patients of dementia. It's been able to help them calm down or help them in some kind of way uh, that would be beneficial, as well as caregivers. And so I told them about, I had had some training and that I could facilitate uh, some structured activities that they could use. And several of them uh, indicated that, yes, they did want to do that. So I sent them some information from the research and how it affects uh, the folks. So um, I'm looking forward to hearing back from them as a place to start in the church. I also had already started some NVC training in the church, and they using Rosenberg's book, and so they're beginning to get the gist of it now. And I've kind of turned the movement of that over to them, and I'm consulting pretty much with them. But I see this as a way to get started with because it will be meeting a need, and then other needs may come up, and it's like build the field, and they will come. That's my strategy on that. Thank you.
Hmm. Well, we're glad to help you in any way if you're wanting to, hold some empathy circles there, kind of support you in that, or help facilitate if you do any online. We can help
Yes,
with that.
thank you so much. I also have the support of Taja, who has also been trained.
Nice.
But yes, I'm just wanted you to know that this is my stab at
Hmm.
expanding the movement.
So, and do you have any questions about that? Any support that you need for that?
Uh, right now, I'm just waiting to see the folks who are really serious and want the help,
Hmm.
and to see how many there are, because they might tell other people about it, or they might tell them after they've had the experience.
Nice. Okay. Well, great. Thanks for that.
But I'll be asking questions as
Hmm.
they come up.
Yeah, we're here to support you. We're here every Friday, so it's a good place to come, as well as to the online empathy circles too. You can share your experience. So we can
Thank
just
you.
open it up now to free discussion. Anything that was raised, in the reports, and can just have open discussion for a while. Yeah, go for it, Jonathan. Just jump in. Don't need to, yeah.
Thank you. I want to point out I put into the chat a copy of our handbook. And so I think it would be very valuable if you save your chat, and then the handbook discusses the basics of how to do an empathy circle. Thank you.
That's what we have already.
How do you save a chat? When you say, is that something each of us individually do, or is that something Edwin does?
If you look at the menu on the chat, up at the top, there should be three dots, or at the bottom, it's either top or bottom. There should be three little dots available.
Oh,
And click on that, and then it should say save.
okay, good. Thanks for the
And
tip.
then that'll put it into your directory that's the Zoom directory.
Okay.
And you'll find a text file with a copy of the links.
Okay.
Now, downloading the PDF might require you to do that live.
Yeah.
I'm not certain about that. But you can go to Best Empathy Training, which is our website, and there's a link there to just type it into Google, Best Empathy Training, and it'll come right up.
Here's the link. Mhm.
And
I did both.
and then on the front page there, about a quarter of the way down, we have a link to the handbook. And I think the handbook, is a good starting place. It's a good reference that'll help you in working with the church. And you know what my suggestion to your meeting on Monday is try and take a moment to ask everyone in the audience to do an introduction or uh, a recognition so that they can walk out knowing that they had a chance to speak. It's just that simple. People really want to be heard. And
Well, in
so
the workshop we're doing is very interactive, both in like a large group format and also
good,
four person groups, two-person groups. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of interactivity. Yeah,
great,
we're not going to just be lecturing. That would be boring.
great, great, great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm hearing three different churches here, so it seems like there's a real opportunity to sort of spread and there's also a natural tendency towards empathy in organizations like that. So yeah, I see a lot of opportunity.
Well,
I have a question. Being new to your community, I'm curious if the people who are attracted to join and become circle leaders and so forth, is it a mixture of people who would sort of self-identify as progressive and conservative, or is it almost entirely people who would identify as progressive? What is the mix of people that are
I
participating?
would say center left is
Center left? Okay.
is it the far left tends not to want to take part, and then the right is not so much. Even though if you see the video, about the mediation we did, that we always had when we take the empathy tent out, we always had good relationships with all sides because everybody wants to be heard, and we're saying to the conservatives, we're here to listen. Just tell us what's up for you, and same for the left. And I think what we're trying to do is say that mindset. And I can say this: in Berkeley, when there would be the demonstrations there, there'd be maybe 300 or 400, people on the right, and then 500 on the left, coming out. There'd be three or four of us in the empathy tent. So that's kind of like the percentages. The country's so polarized that the empathy, you know, we gotta, talk with each other, kind of mindset, mutual empathy is really quite small in terms. But that was, I thinking maybe there's going to be more interest in that, before people say, oh, we don't need to get out there and do anything, but we want to take the empathy tent out now for those people who, value mutual empathy to have a rallying, place to rally around. And yeah, so if you see the video, you'll see we're very successful in mediating between the different sides, and to the point where they were giving each other hugs at the end. And on the other side of the street, the police were keeping them apart from beating each other up.
Oh my God.
Do you
Wow.
have any center right facilitators that have gone through the program and they're actually leading circles?
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Yep.
ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, that was yes, we do. Um, but the point that I would say to you and Amy sounds like Monday you've got your program for Monday pretty much set. Um, the key to the difference, to this tool, how to use this tool effectively, is that it is experiential. So for instance, when I was there at Make America Red or California Red again or whatever, a guy came up and we started to talk um, and he had a son with him. And so I'm a father as well. And so we talked about being fathers and our mutual concern. And so that kind of tends, he there was father to father instead of red to blue.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so using the empathy circle is experiential. It poses both a challenge and also a unique opportunity. The challenge is that if you say, oh, you'll just repeat what everybody says, it sounds boring. But if you actually have an experiential, if people do it and do it where they get two or three rounds, then you'll start to see a different psychological gestalt. People are not so rigid into their things and they start to see others as individuals, and that loosens their both emotions and conceptual stuff. For you right now, I will just say that, we have facilitators. Um, Mondays probably, you got that done. But if you want to do something with the empathy circles, you can do like a check-in, like people do, like 5 minutes. People go into dyads, they listen to each other back and forth, check out, something like that. So a hybrid. Um, or we do a fishbowl, which is essentially we'll bring a small little empathy circle and we can demonstrate it to a
Mm,
larger group.
right.
As well as should you get in deeper, and there's desire for this, then we can also provide you with facilitators for breakout rooms so that
Mm.
people can then, do that. And that could happen fairly quickly, depending upon what your needs are.
And we had held
Great.
empathy circles previously with trying to be more, bring the left, right together. And these were some testimonials from those circles. So this was specifically, we're reaching out, and I'd been to the Republican convention in California, and we had been to right wing, rallies in Sacramento and so forth. So it's just a matter of doing outreach, which we'd done. So we'd done it with, both sides. So this is, the feedback. We had someone on the right. This rocks. Really enjoyed this. It was like, okay, I'm not being attacked. They're actually listening. And then on the left, I want to thank you. Found this extremely productive, inclusive, and wonderful. Then on the right, this is always cool. This is my third or fourth one of these. It's a good tool. I don't think it can cure everything, but it's an effective tool from what I've seen. So you can see, we had, really great reviews from both sides.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
great.
and you can find that that is right there under the how to participate. That's the link. Okay, anyone else? Joan, you got.
Um, well, you know what I have said to you, and I just feel like I was listening to Ed and Amy about their friends that are progressive that don't want to put energy into right left. Why do you think that is, Amy? Because I kind of understand it, and I will say my part on it. But I was wondering, what do you think is the problem? What do they want to do?
You want to answer?
Well, if she asks you, go ahead.
I just want to say, I need to leave, so I just wanted to say bye and nice meeting everybody.
Oh,
All right, Alex.
Yep. So
Keep
bye.
hope
up
to
the
see you
good
next week.
work.
Thank you,
Okay.
Alex.
Thanks, you too.
It was
Bye.
nice meeting
Bye-bye.
you.
You too.
So, let me repeat your question, see if I'm understanding. You're wondering why I think that some people on the progressive left side aren't interested in bridging divides.
Right.
Um, I think that, we have two separate, and you can jump in, information universes, and the media that's feeding to the left is, exaggerating and really feeding into that us versus them mentality. And so it sort of entrenches this belief that we're the good guys and they're the bad guys. And it's challenging because what's happening right now and what started in Minnesota and what's been happening is really awful. And so I think some people feel like if we're talking about bridging divides, that we're somehow saying that, what's happening isn't so bad or something like that. And so we're trying to get across to people that, if you want to have understanding of people who have different views, it's not about watering down your own beliefs. It's about just hearing other people's stories, how they got to their beliefs, understanding their personal experience, and then maybe seeing the human in other people without necessarily saying, "Oh, okay, well now I think ice is great." It's not. But I think that some people, we've seen reactions among some of our progressive friends that kind of imply that they think that that's what we're trying to do. I don't know.
Yes, it's interesting among progressives even that if you're less progressive on a particular topic, then all of a sudden you get lumped in with the opposite extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wait a minute, how? So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that nowadays people's their whole sense of identity is wrapped up in their belief systems. And um, I think people often they're not comfortable hearing ideas that that are dissonant in any way with their belief system. And it's threatening. It seems more so than it used to be.
Yeah.
I guess because of the degree of polarization. And so I personally find it refreshing to be exposed to a wide variety of different ideas and to not take things so personally. But I know I'm saying that as a white privileged male. So, that I understand that that's part of the picture, that we all bring our unique situation to it. So.
And the other thing is, sometimes I've noticed it, and I've heard Ed talk about this, just the act of asking a curiosity question about some sort of policy or law or stance or something. If you just ask about it, that means that there's all this projection that means that you think it's bad and therefore you're a racist. And it's like I was just curious. I just wanted to hear more about it. I'm not saying it's that I don't agree. I just want to hear more about it. And another thing is, my being drawn to this work has to do with, the way the social media outlets are really amplifying the very, very extremes. I want to hear from the silent middle, moderate voices, and those people have good ideas, but they don't really have a platform to express them. And I yearn for critical thinking, curiosity, and respect in our conversations. So.
Yeah, that's really what we're.
Go
ahead, Joan.
Well, my thought is, I don't know your friends. I don't like labels, progressive, conservative, to begin with, because I feel like a lot of the people I know, it's more about they're fighting for democracy, and that the labels of the past have changed. It's not an exaggeration to say right now we're in a similar situation as Hungary or Germany was, where, as far as Amy, as far as what you were saying about the press is not free anymore. They are in fear. They are about money. And those of us that know what's happening, that are following what's going on, hear them just parrot things that are safe. And what I don't know about your friends, but I think what I'm seeing is it's no longer right and left issues. It's more, are you going to support our country to continue as it is? Or are you supporting tyranny? Mm-hmm. And that's the only positive of all this, is those divisions are going away. Like what we call red states now are fighting with everything they can to keep those detention centers out of their communities, because they have some of the same values. They want to hold on to democracy. And I think that's why I brought up today about having empathy and some of the things that we're fighting for, to fight against tyranny, to have people talk more about empathy. They're showing it. They're showing it every day. People that are red or blue or whatever, they're taking in their neighbors. They're getting them groceries. They're watching their children. We need to come together in every single way. And this isn't dramatic, because what ICE is doing is like the Gestapo. You've heard about a couple of the killings, but there have been many, many more. And every day, last night, I got one about a man that had 6 skull fractures from ice. This wasn't in Minnesota either. This is not just happening in Minnesota. And he was an American citizen, and he was not doing anything wrong. And they shackled him when he went to the hospital. I mean, this is not our country. So this is why I feel what you're doing is wonderful. The empathy circles are great. That it should be taking in, we're all together in this. We, the people, against what a group of people that aren't GOP. I don't know, what they are. So that's my thought.
Well, what we want to do with the empathy movement is create the space for what you were talking about, Ed and Amy, for having people who want to listen to the different sides and sort of model that world. It's like and it is, the empathic side, I think, has been rather quiet and hasn't really found a way of kind of being out in public. And I think our empathy tent does that because we're out there, we're saying we're willing to listen to all sides and see everyone's humanity, and see and then and model the world that we want, but also be sort of activist about it, and not demonize the different people,
Do you
but say,
have
hey, huh?
do you have any facilitators in Colorado?
Um, Not that I know. There's probably people who were there, but I don't have a list of who they are.
Mhm.
Do you
Yeah.
know, Bill? Are there?
Yeah, well, the one woman, her first name is Castle. She took the training, and I think she's in Boulder, but so many circles, so little time.
Yeah.
Actually, well, if you're able to like find who that is, and I'd love to be in touch with that person if they're in Boulder, especially. It might be interesting to collaborate.
Sure. I put my email in there. It's Bill at Padley in the chat. I can do it again if you want.
Yeah, if you want to put your Ed and Amy, if you want to put your email in the chat, we can
Yeah, put
then.
your email, and then I'll send her an email, and and it's fine with you if I give her your contact information.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great.
So a good way to start is you can just hold like an empathy circle with two or three others, so that do the practice, and then the others are learning how the process works, and so you don't even need to really take a training. You can just learn the practice by doing. That's one advantage, is that it's easy to learn. And then you do the empathy circle, and then you maybe hold a couple circles, and then they're learning how to do it, and then they can become facilitators, just through by doing it maybe 2 times or 3 times. Then they know how the process works. And then you can have an empathy cafe, maybe at the church, where you've got, let's say 40 people, and then you create 10 groups, and then you have one facilitator in each group that just holds the structure of the practice. Plus, you have handouts. You hand them. You can also send them the how-to video so that they know in advance. You kind of prepare them just so you just kind of hold the structure. Then you have a topic. So the topic can be something like it can be personal. What are feelings of stress, anxiety, concern, worry that you have about the current political situation or social situation, so people can sort of vent, what's going on for them. Feelings are pretty strong. Or you could have a more topic like, how do we bridge our political social divides? Something which is a bit more not academic, but intellectual. So you can kind of experiment with the topics, and we always have a topic, but then there's also whatever is on your mind too. So people can always bring up anything that's kind of alive for them. So yeah, that's a good way to get started. So it could, outside of your regular training, you could even start, just bring couple. And if you do it online, one of us would be glad to come and help facilitate the first couple circles online, so you can build a local group of, facilitators.
Yeah.
And if everybody knows how to do the empathy circle, you don't even need a facilitator, really. It's just you need a facilitator if people aren't, are new to it to kind of keep them on track.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Anyone else? Okay, then we can call this meeting come to an end. We go for 60 or 90 minutes, depending on how much we have to do. So we'll be back here. Oh, maybe in closing. So what are you going to do this week to build the empathy movement? Just go around quickly. Yeah, the projects that I was doing with prepping for the convention and the preparing for the empathy summits, bringing in people to speak, and you're all welcome to be speakers too if you like, and the benefits of the empathy circle practice, kind of working on that. Bill, do you want to
Yeah,
just
we're
share?
working on finishing up the online training, having the empathy cafes on Thursdays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That might be a way for you guys to experience it, or you could send some people there. Um, and then also looking at revising the empathy circle game.
Daniel?
Yeah, so continue inviting people to the Phoenix training. I have a few people to follow up. I feel like personal connections, and Ingrid is very strong on that, reminding me that's a very good path to go. Each person is important, so keep going like that. And when the training is over, I can focus again on Hippie Hill, because that's my Saturday morning, and that's when I can, do some of the local actions. And yeah, we continue doing Amplify Empathy at 6 p.m. It's on the schedule. If that works better for you, join us there.
Yeah, Jonathan?
Well, thank you. I guess I'm just going to try and work on starting to put together a proposal for the church I'm affiliated with. And I felt really good that two other people present mentioned church affiliations. And I also am grateful. It's just a wonderful idea. It's just a wonderful idea for a more liberal church to reach out a hand to a more conservative church and say, look, let's see if we can bring together our congregations and have them engage in conversation. And it just seems like a wonderful idea. In fact, I have the church that I'd like to reach out to here in the Bay Area. Um, and I was visiting their church 30 years ago, and I was appalled because the new movement, the people controlling the church, politicized it and put campaign literature out, and the pastor unfortunately endorsed it. And then the next week, he came back and he recanted it and said this was wrong. I should not have even gotten involved in this, but I was pushed into it. And then sadly, within the next week, he died. And and I think that there was a lot of ugly politics going on behind. And I would just love to reach out to that church and see what their reaction would be if we invited them over to our liberal Berkeley church to do some sort of an exchange. Uh, and what I'm saying is extraordinarily complicated, and as you know, what I'm talking about is complicated, and so you have to take a high level approach. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling on. Uh,
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. I'd be glad to support that too. Nita, just what are you doing for the next?
Yes, thank you. First of all, tomorrow, I think that's Saturday. I'm going to finish up this round, the first round of my training. And also, I will be attending the uh, Wednesday night and Thursday night empathy circles. I also attend a Monday night circle with Larry.
Hmm.
And of course, I attend several NVC Zoom meetings, and I can continue that. But I'm really excited about this upcoming project. I know it's going to go well, but I've got to finish getting everything in order. Thank you.
Nice. Joan?
I think I'm going to continue on. I've been dealing with a little bit of health issues this week, but doing some of the interactions that I have been doing. I'm going to try to go out to our plaza today and bridge democracy and empathy. And I think one of the slogans that stood out was empathy is a strength and fascism is a weakness. It kind of summarizes bringing together both of these. And one other thing that just happened that I am going to respond to, I reached out to grandparents that are working on vaccines because some of you might know that's my background. I'm a nurse and worked with communicable disease. And I love to, and I feel like that cuts across all barriers when it comes to health, that they're looking to start some leadership across the country to educate and communicate to everyone. So I'm going to check that out since they just wrote to me and see what might be available.
Okay, thanks, Joan. Ed, Amy?
Well, I want to go to your website and kind of gather some additional information and resources that could be useful in our workshop on Monday, and then we'll do the workshop, and then maybe we'll come to another one of these and report what happened.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I want to do some more, watch the video and read the book on hosting an empathy circle and just sort of learn more about what you guys do and see how we could bring it into our community.
Excellent. Okay, well, thanks everyone for attending, and we'll be here again next Friday, and bring some friends and keep spreading the word.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Thank
bye,
you.
everyone.
Yeah.